An Introduction to Environmental Assessment, 2015 UNET. An Introduction to Environmental Assessment is a comprehensive report published by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, in 2015. The report provides an overview of environmental assessment, EA, and its importance in supporting sustainable development. Environmental assessment is a process of evaluating the potential environmental impacts of a project, plan, or policy before it is implemented. The report highlights the following key points. 1. The importance of EA. EA helps decision-makers identify potential environmental impacts of a project and take measures to mitigate them. This ensures that economic development is pursued in a sustainable manner that protects the environment. 2. Types of EA. There are several types of EA, including Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, Strategic Environmental Assessment, SE, and Social Impact Assessment, SIA. Each type has a different focus and scope, but all aim to identify and assess potential environmental and social impacts of a project. 3. The EA process. The EA process typically involves scoping, impact assessment, alternatives assessment, mitigation and monitoring, and reporting. The report provides a detailed overview of each stage of the process. 4. International context. The report also highlights the international context of EA, including the role of multilateral environmental agreements, MIAs, and the importance of cross-border environmental assessments. 5. Key challenges and opportunities. The report identifies several key challenges to implementing effective EA, including lack of political will, inadequate funding and capacity, and difficulties in assessing cumulative impacts. However, the report also highlights opportunities for improving EA, including the use of new technologies and approaches, and the importance of public participation and stakeholder engagement. 6. Stakeholder participation. The report emphasizes the importance of stakeholder participation in the EA process, including the participation of affected communities, indigenous peoples, and other interested parties. Effective stakeholder participation can help ensure that project impacts are properly identified and addressed, and can also help build trust and support for the project. 7. Integration with other processes. The report highlights the importance of integrating EA with other processes, such as land use planning, water resource management, and climate change adaptation. This can help ensure that environmental considerations are fully integrated into decision-making processes across different sectors. 8. Capacity building. The report identifies the need for capacity building to strengthen the effectiveness of EA, including training programs for EA practitioners, government officials, and other stakeholders. This can help improve the quality of EAs and ensure that they are conducted in a consistent and transparent manner. 9. Monitoring and evaluation. The report emphasizes the importance of monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of EA over time, including assessing the accuracy of predictions and the effectiveness of mitigation measures. This can help identify areas for improvement and ensure that EAs are continually refined to reflect new knowledge and changing circumstances. 10. Adaptation and resilience. The report highlights the importance of building adaptation and resilience into EA processes to ensure that projects are able to cope with environmental change and uncertainty. This includes considering the potential impacts of climate change on project outcomes and developing strategies to mitigate these impacts. abhijitsarkar.com. 11. Link to policy and decision-making. The report also emphasizes the importance of linking EA to policy and decision-making processes at all levels of government. By integrating environmental considerations into policy and decision-making, governments can ensure that sustainable development is pursued in a coordinated and effective manner. 12. Cumulative Effects Assessment. The report also highlights the importance of assessing cumulative effects of projects, especially in regions where multiple projects are being developed. Cumulative effects assessment can help decision-makers better understand the combined impacts of multiple projects and develop strategies to mitigate negative impacts. 13. Use of indicators. The report suggests the use of indicators to measure the effectiveness of EA in achieving its objectives. Indicators can help evaluate the environmental and social performance of a project and can also help track progress over time. 14. Applicability across different sectors. The report emphasizes that EA can be applied across a wide range of sectors, including energy, transportation, agriculture, and mining. The process can be tailored to the specific needs of different sectors and can help ensure that environmental considerations are integrated into decision-making at all levels. 15. Importance of transparency and accountability. Finally, the report emphasizes the importance of transparency and accountability in the EA process. By ensuring that EA is conducted in a transparent and accountable manner, decision-makers can build trust and confidence among stakeholders and ensure that environmental and social considerations are given appropriate weight in decision-making. 16. Precautionary approach. The report also emphasizes the importance of applying the precautionary approach in EA, especially in cases where the potential for significant and irreversible environmental harm exists. The precautionary approach involves taking action to prevent harm, even in the absence of scientific certainty, and can help ensure that environmental risks are properly assessed and addressed. 17. Use of technology. The report highlights the role of technology in improving the effectiveness of EA, including the use of geographic information systems, GIS, remote sensing, and other tools for data collection and analysis. Technology can help improve the accuracy and efficiency of EA and can also help facilitate stakeholder engagement and communication. 18. International standards. The report highlights the importance of international standards and guidelines for EA, including those developed by organizations such as the International Association for Impact Assessment, IAIA, and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. These standards can help ensure that EAs are conducted in a consistent and rigorous manner across different countries and sectors. 19. Financing for EA. The report also emphasizes the importance of financing for EA, including the need for adequate funding and resources to support the EA process. Governments, international organizations, and private sector actors can all play a role in providing financing for EA and ensuring that the process is conducted in a timely and effective manner. 20. Continuous improvement. Finally, the report emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement in the EA process, including the need to adapt to changing circumstances and new knowledge over time. By continually refining the EA process, decision-makers can ensure that environmental considerations are properly integrated into decision-making processes and that sustainable development is pursued in a coordinated and effective manner. Overall, The UNEP report, An Introduction to Environmental Assessment, is a valuable resource for understanding the importance of environmental assessment in promoting sustainable development. The report provides a comprehensive overview of the EA process, including its key principles, methods, and best practices, and highlights the importance of stakeholder engagement, capacity building, monitoring and evaluation, and the integration of environmental considerations into policy and decision-making processes. By following these best practices and continually refining the EA process, decision-makers can ensure that environmental and social considerations are properly integrated into decision-making processes and that sustainable development is pursued in a coordinated and effective manner. abhijitsarkar.com Environmental Management C.J. Barrow Book Summary. Some of the other important points covered in the book include the role of environmental management in promoting social and economic development while protecting the environment. The importance of integrating environmental considerations into business practices and decision-making processes. The use of life cycle assessment to evaluate the environmental impacts of products and services. The concept of environmental justice and the need to address environmental inequalities and injustices. The challenges of implementing environmental policies and regulations, including issues related to enforcement and compliance. The role of NGOs, community groups, and other stakeholders in shaping environmental policy and management practices. The potential benefits of adopting sustainable business practices, such as improved resource efficiency, cost savings, and enhanced reputation. The importance of monitoring and evaluation in environmental management to ensure that goals and objectives are being met and to facilitate continuous improvement. The need for a holistic, systems-based approach to environmental management that takes into account the complex interrelationships between environmental, social, and economic factors. The role of environmental management in addressing global environmental challenges, such as climate change, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion. The importance of considering the social and cultural dimensions of environmental management, including the role of traditional knowledge and indigenous communities. The need for collaborative approaches to environmental management that involve multiple stakeholders and facilitate dialogue and cooperation. The challenges of balancing environmental protection with economic development, particularly in developing countries. The potential benefits of incorporating environmental considerations into financial decision-making, such as through the use of environmental accounting and reporting. The importance of education and public awareness in promoting environmental sustainability and responsible environmental behavior. The role of technology in environmental management, including the development of new technologies for pollution prevention and control, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture. The challenges and opportunities associated with implementing sustainable urban development and promoting sustainable transportation. The potential for innovative financing mechanisms, such as green bonds and carbon markets, to mobilize private sector investment in environmental management. abhijitsarkar.com Environmental Risk Management, Impact, Hazard and Risk Assessment. The book also covers several important topics related to environmental risk management, impact, hazard, and risk assessment. These include the importance of identifying and assessing environmental risks, such as those associated with industrial activities, climate change, and natural disasters. Times the use of hazard and risk assessment methodologies to identify and prioritize environmental risks and to inform decision-making. Times the distinction between hazard and risk, with hazard referring to the potential for harm and risk referring to the likelihood of harm occurring. Times the role of uncertainty in environmental risk assessment and management, including the need to consider worst-case scenarios and to adopt a precautionary approach in the face of uncertainty. Times the potential for environmental risks to have far-reaching impacts, such as on public health, ecosystems, and economic activities. Times the importance of considering the social and ethical dimensions of environmental risk management, including issues related to distributional equity and intergenerational justice. Times the use of risk communication to facilitate public understanding of environmental risks and to foster dialogue and collaboration between stakeholders. Times the potential for environmental risk management to be incorporated into broader risk management frameworks, such as enterprise risk management and supply chain risk management. Times the importance of developing and implementing effective risk management strategies, including risk mitigation, avoidance, transfer, and acceptance. Times the use of risk assessment tools and techniques, such as environmental impact assessments, EIAs, risk matrices, and fault trees, to identify, evaluate, and prioritize environmental risks. Times the potential for environmental risks to interact and compound, creating complex and interconnected risks that are difficult to manage. Times the importance of stakeholder engagement in environmental risk management, including the need to involve affected communities, NGOs, and other stakeholders in decision-making processes. Times the role of regulation and enforcement in managing environmental risks, including the use of environmental permits, inspections, and penalties to ensure compliance with environmental standards. Times the potential for emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, to improve environmental risk assessment and management. Times the importance of monitoring and evaluation in environmental risk management, including the use of performance indicators and metrics to track progress and to inform adaptive management strategies. Times the challenges and opportunities associated with managing environmental risks in a global context, including issues related to transboundary pollution, climate change, and resource depletion. abhijitsarkar.com United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, adopted by the United Nations in 2015 are as follows. 1. No poverty, to end poverty in all its forms, everywhere. 2. Zero hunger, to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. 3. Good health and well-being, to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. 4. Quality education, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. 5. Gender equality, to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. 6. Clean water and sanitation, to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. 7. Affordable and clean energy, to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. 8. Decent work and economic growth, to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. 9. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure, to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. 10. Reduced inequalities, to reduce inequality within and among countries. 11. Sustainable cities and communities, to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. 12. Responsible consumption and production, to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. 13. Climate action, to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. 14. Life below water, to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. 15. Life on land, to protect, restore, and promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. 16. Peace, justice and strong institutions, to promote peaceful and inclusive societies, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. 17. Partnerships for the goals, to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Each SDG includes specific targets and indicators to measure progress and guide action. The SDGs are interconnected and interdependent, and progress in one area can have positive impacts on other areas.